Welcome to today's video. Today you won't see voodoo dolls or magic, but pure psychology and manipulative tactics. If you're interested in dark psychology and its secrets and want to learn more about them, you're in the right place. I'll show you techniques to play with others' minds and at the same time keep them in mind so you know how to recognize them. Stay to the end, the last one will shock you. Let's start with the first technique, namely the white knight method. We're starting off strong with one of the most effective and toxic techniques. Often this technique is used in relationships. Wondering how? Allow me to explain. The white knight method involves a tactic where the manipulator assists the victim by presenting themselves as a hero and rescuing them from a given situation. You might be wondering, where's the manipulation in that? Well, the trick is that the manipulator intentionally puts the victim in the situation in the first place, so they can appear as the hero and save them, making the victim feel safe and calm in their presence. Here's a basic example of how the technique can be used, not necessarily in a highly toxic manner. Let's say you've recently started dating someone and you want to impress them. Take them ice skating, bowling, or even golfing, something you're sure they're not good at, so it's a good idea to have researched beforehand to avoid embarrassment. So, let's say you've gone ice skating and she hasn't done it before. When she starts struggling, you constantly assist her, holding her up to prevent her from falling and looking awkward, continuously offering help. That's how the technique works. You've put her in a situation where she can't cope, and you appear as the hero by constantly helping, making her feel secure and showing your concern and interest in her, which could lead to positive results in your future interactions. Let's continue with the second technique. Have you ever wanted to grab someone's attention and make them constantly think about you? The technique for achieving this is the push and pull technique. This technique is again widely used in relationships and friendships. It has two phases. The push phase is when the manipulator gives attention to the victim, makes compliments, and treats them well. The next phase, pull, is the opposite. The manipulator deprives the victim of attention, even of their presence, making them wonder what's going on and seek it. Here's an example. You go on a date with someone. Try to visit as many places as possible to give the feeling that you will spend more time together. Behave well. Give compliments. Be a gentleman. After the date is over and you leave, don't answer the victim's calls and messages. This will arouse their curiosity, wondering what might have happened and why you're not responding, making them think the mistake is theirs. First, by showing your good side, they will seek it again, and they won't stop looking for you until they get an answer. After some time, let's say the next day, respond and justify that your battery was dead or your phone broke. By using these techniques, you've made the victim constantly think about you, settling into their subconscious. I warn you, these are examples of how the technique works. I do not recommend it to be used because there may be unintended consequences. And even more interesting, has it ever happened to you to meet someone and say, "Wow, how have we not known each other until now? We resemble each other so much that it feels like we've known each other for years." Well, I'll disappoint you. Be careful. The chances of your interests coinciding like two completely unknown and separate individuals are very slim. It's not impossible, but still, be cautious. Many people use this technique in new acquaintances or relationships. Most of you know the technique, especially those who have been following the channel from the beginning. It's called mirroring or parroting, and they're practically the same thing. What does the technique involve? Well, as the name suggests, the person opposite you becomes like a mirror. They mimic your interests, behaviors, even gestures, or the way you speak. Psychologically, people are attracted to those who resemble them, so this technique is very successful. Here's an example. Let's say you're getting to know Josh and starting a conversation. If you say you like watching football, he would say the same. If you say your hobby is racing sports cars on a track, he would reply that he does the same. He would even copy your way of sitting and your tone of speech, creating the feeling in you that Josh is probably your lost brother. But be careful, this technique isn't always toxic or dangerous. But don't share too much about yourself, especially at the beginning of the friendship. You don't know what intentions or goals Josh might have, and you could end up serving as a tool to achieve them. Here's another technique to be aware of and protect yourself from: future faking. It's a manipulative tactic where someone makes promises or commitments about the future with no intention of following through. This tactic is commonly used in relationships, especially by manipulative partners, to gain control, maintain the relationship, or keep the other person invested. Here's how future faking works. The manipulator makes promises or commitments to the victim about the future. These promises may involve plans for marriage, starting a family, moving in together, or other significant life events. The victim becomes emotionally invested in the promises made by the manipulator. They may start to envision a future together and feel hopeful or optimistic about what lies ahead. As time passes, the manipulator may delay or make excuses for not following through on their promises. They may cite external factors, such as financial issues, family problems, or work commitments, as reasons for the delay. The manipulator may repeat the cycle of making promises, delaying fulfillment, and making excuses multiple times. Each time they keep the victim hopeful and invested in the relationship, even though the promises are never fulfilled. Control and manipulation. Future faking allows the manipulator to maintain control over the victim and the relationship. By stringing the victim along with false promises, they can keep them emotionally attached and dependent on the hope of a better future. Future faking allows the manipulator to avoid accountability for their actions. They may use promises of a better future to deflect criticism, placate the victim, or justify their behavior. Ultimately, future faking can be emotionally damaging to the victim, leading to feelings of betrayal, disappointment, and mistrust. My advice is to never leave your future in the hands of others. Don't expect someone else to make your life better if you're not doing it yourself. And remember, words are nice, but actions confirm them. If you encounter someone who talks a lot but doesn't follow through with actions, don't trust them. This technique will seem very familiar to you. It is again most commonly applied in relationships with the aim of provoking jealousy. However, it also has applications in the workplace to foster competition. The technique is called triangulation. Through it, the manipulator involves a third party in your interactions to make you feel jealous or compete with the third party. Here's an example. Let's say you're in a relationship and your partner wants to make you feel jealous or competitive. They will involve a third party. Let's call her Carol. They'll start talking to you about her and hint at things like how Carol is a very good listener and tell you all the positive sides of Carol. They might say things like, "Carol always listens to me and understands me in a way you don't." Or, "I wish you were more confident and did more interesting and new things like Carol." As described above, this situation can also be used in a workplace context. For example, if your boss tells you that Josh is doing better or he's more responsible in order to provoke and motivate you. But as we understood, in most cases, the third party doesn't even realize they are involved in someone's plan and being used in a similar way. To protect yourself from such situations, it's best to wait a little and, if you have access to the third party, talk to them directly to understand if what you're being told is true or if you're being manipulated. Because there are cases of toxic relationships where one partner turns their significant other against their friends with the aim of isolating them. They start telling them how bad those people are and that they talk behind their back without them knowing. So, before giving in to your emotions and trusting everything said, make sure if these things really happened and if they are true. If not, then you already know which technique was used against you and you've been manipulated. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and tell me in the comments which, in your opinion, is the most effective and toxic technique everyone should be aware of.